Okay, guys, this is 3:05 p.m. So I would say we should just start with the intro. Uh, once again, once again, I want to welcome us to this session. Like I was saying, I said the thing about trading is that once you once you have the habit of always getting yourself trained, it becomes a part of you, and you develop yourself not just for the company, but for the industry and the society as a whole. And the more you know your value, the more your profile raises. After the training yesterday, Mr. Paul posted something about always blowing your trumpet also online. Our online presence is an extension of who we are. No matter how good you are, nobody will come to you. And I'll give you an example. Apropos doctor that we all know on social media now, I don't want to believe he's the best doctor that we have in Nigeria. Neither is he the most experienced doctor, but the followership he has amassed and what he has been able to do with his digital presence now, it's something that even a chief medical doctor in some hospitals they don't have. So what I would implore us to do is that for whatever trainings we do, whichever social media we use, we should try and post some of these things like what we achieve, what we are learning. It makes people see you, you are seen, and people know what you are doing. Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to come and rescue you. God has given you all the talent, and it is up to you to either make it shine or you hide yourself from being seen. So let me reintroduce the company that is bringing this together for all of us. The company is Navia Blue Logistics, and what the company is into is to provide logistics end-to-end solution. Uh, from transportation to storage to providing driver training services. This is what Navia Blue Logistics is into. Uh, in the time past, we've been able to train some of the companies like are the company in charge of the what's it called? There's this company in charge of the green buses now in Lagos. I can't remember their name, but there are quite a lot that we've been able to train in times past, and this is what we've been doing basically. And we intend to do more, and this is why we are bringing this together. There's quite a lot of gap in the fleet and logistics space, and this is what we want to bridge. Because if you look at it, for every business that ends, there is a very slim chance that uh, that industry grows. And I'll give you an example. When it comes to trucking and haulage now, for you to get a loan to acquire like many trucks, it becomes very difficult because there's a lot of bad loans in that space. I worked with a company at one point in time, and for us to get a loan for 50 trucks was quite an headache. We had to start lobbying and begging so that they could see. Because if you look at it, if you give a driver a vehicle, before you know, if you're not very careful and meticulous with these vehicles, it becomes an issue. Either it becomes impounded and the vehicle is not bringing in money, or he runs into an accident and then everything is lost. I know you say insurance, but insurance also does not come cheap, either from GIT or if you want to do comprehensive insurance. So these are some of the things that you need to look into in fleets. And the margin is quite low. Like it is very, very low. If you buy an asset for, let's say, 100 million, a tractor head and a trailer, and you're expected to see about 9-10%. If you consider what another business can give you with the same money, you see that you get more. And that is why a lot of times the fleet and that is why you even see that in Nigeria, there's a lot of used vehicles on the road rather than new vehicles. Only few can actually do new vehicles. And then when they do also, before you know, with time, they become depleted. And so these are some of the gaps that we've seen that we think it is very important. And why this training? What you cannot measure, it is very difficult to manage. If you can measure the fuel you give and why you give it, it becomes very easy for you to propose either to your management or to even your drivers and say, this is how much you've used, this is how much I'm going to give you. Or with time, I believe with time, engine combustion and the likes actually makes a vehicle want to consume more. But if you've been tracking it, it gives it very easy for you to want to say, okay, this is the time you want to increase your fuel consumption or fuel efficiency ratio. So these are some of the reasons why we are doing this. So to introduce today's facilitator, uh, this facilitator is also a managing partner in Navia Blue Logistics. His name is Mr. Gideon Adedigba. Mr. Gideon Adedigba, I would say he's one of the best when it comes to fleet and logistics in Nigeria. And my reason is very simple. He has been able to transcend from operations to maintenance. I know he has done pharmaceutical. From pharmaceutical, he has done total fleet management. From total fleet management, he has managed uh, assets close to more than, I think, yeah, about 10 billion naira when it comes to Nigeria. And on top of that, he is also running a fleet management training platform, which why we are all beneficiaries of. I'll quickly read this profile and then I would hand over to him so he can do justice to this class. Whatever Mr. Gideon is telling you, it's because we've witnessed it beforehand, and we've seen how how some of this how some of this is. I remember at the time we entered into a partnership with a company, and we entered into a partnership with an individual with some trucks, and we got firsthand how this business works. Now, this is not about just theories or about what you read in the book. This is firsthand. Uh, January 2nd, 2024, we walked the length and breadth of Lagos Island, trying to partner with some customers, and we were trying to see the viability of yes, it was a van, yes, an eco van that we were trying to see, and then we quickly got to know the commerciality of the assets. So Mr. Gideon is a fleet and maintenance expert, with the distinguished career in automobile, supply chain, uh, and in different industries, from pharmaceutical to transport to third-party logistics. His qualification for this training is rooted in unique blend of deep technical mastery and strategic management. He has applied his technical insights into optimizing costs, managing inventory via ERP, such as Microsoft Dynamics and Navision, and he enforced rigorous and critical link between raw data and real-world fleet performance. Teaching participants how to use analytics for accurate diagnosis and tangible operational efficiency. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, I don't need you to unmute, but you can just use your emoji to help us say welcome to Mr. Gideon Adedigba. So the next voice you shall be hearing will be that of Mr. Gideon. So Mr. Gideon, you have the floor. Thank you as you do justice to this training.
Thank you, Mr. Laide, and good afternoon, everybody. That introduction. Okay, I would turn on my camera so that you can at least see who Gideon is, right? My name is Adedigba Gideon, and I believe Mr. Laide has done justice to introducing me, even though the introduction is long. I think the company Mr. Laide was trying to recall the other time when he mentioned Navia Blue's profile is CIG, the current company managing lag ride in Lagos. I just thought to mention that. So I would share my screen now so that we can dive into what we are going to cover today. Kindly confirm once you can see my screen. I just need someone to unmute and confirm if you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
see
your
my
screen
screen.
is visible. Your screen is
Okay,
visible.
great. Thank you very much. And I would want this session to be as interactive as possible, right? So some of the things we'll be covering today would be picking up from where Mr. Paul stopped yesterday. I believe Mr. Paul covered a lot of stuffs yesterday. In fact, it was very detailed. It was very detailed, and in absentia, I want us to, use our emojis to clap for Mr. Paul. Uh, Today we'll be covering sum if functions, count if functions, average if functions. Then we'll be looking into some lookup functions, right? Mr. Pollard covered, I think he mentioned the sum function yesterday. He also did, I think he mentioned max and min, and he mentioned count A and count, right? Um, so what is sum if and sum if function? The sum if and sum if function in Excel are particularly used to calculate sum of values in range that meets one or more specific criteria. When we get into the data, so we are using the same data Mr. Paul shared yesterday. So if you have your laptop with you, you can open up that data so that you can follow me on this journey. Uh, would get insight into these formulas and functions uh, when I move this slide to the raw data that was shared yesterday. So we have countif, and countif's function is also used to count number of cells in a range that meets one criteria or more criteria. Yeah. Then average is for calculating the average of a particular range that meets specified functions. Then lookup functions are particularly tools used to search for a specific value uh, and returns a corresponding value from a different column, right? We have lookup functions like lookup. We have a function. So for some of us that are already very good with Excel, uh, not everybody use lookup, right? Lookup is a bit more complex than VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, and XLOOKUP. We also have an index match, but we'd only be covering a few of these um, functions because of the level we are uh, at the moment. I think for the sake of this session today, I would only cover VLOOKUP and X lookup. I would see if I can touch on H lookup, but for lookup and index match, VLOOKUP will do the same thing as index match. So we can leave index match out of the conversation for today, but lookup is a bit more complex than other lookup functions like VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, and XLOOKUP, right? So what are we expecting of sum if and sum if functions? This function for I during the course of the lecture yesterday, the training yesterday, I saw on the chat that some were requesting for some please, whoever is unmuted should please mute, please. It's a bit distracting. Thank you. So I see that some of us were asking for some specifics. So these are the functions we would use to calculate those specific questions that we're asking yesterday. Sum if function, both for sum if and sum ifs. There are two different functions. particularly, and I'll be touching on the differences between these functions, right? So for some if and some ifs, we'll be able to calculate total fuel per truck, total maintenance cost per month, number of trips, fuel per trucks, cost per driver, and all those logistics and fleet management and maintenance metrics that we want to see on day-to-day operations, on our monthly reports, or on our operational reports that when we have a very large data, we find it difficult to quickly, navigate our ways to calculate all these things. Average if and average if functions, they are particularly performance-based functions to look at performance-based insights. We can say average fuel per trip, average fuel per kilometer, average downtime per truck or per asset, as the case may be, right? Counting would, track events, counting numbers of uh, uh, based on criteria, right? So we can count number of breakdown per trucks, we can count number of trips per driver, we can count number of times a driver went to collect fuel, you understand, at a specific station. You understand? We'll be looking at all these things. Sorry, I just need to run us through what we'll be taking today. So please just bear with me before we go into the trading proper. So looking into lookup functions, I said we'll be touching on XLOOKUP and VLOOKUP. I would most likely add HLOOKUP. HLOOKUP is not a function that everybody uses. It's not a function that you would want to use on your day-to-day operation activity, but it might come in handy just uh, in case, right? And what would what would we be able to achieve with lookup functions? You might just want to look for a corresponding data that matches a driver's name or a truck, or you have a large sum of data and you don't want to start filtering. You just want to quickly look up a corresponding data to a specific cell or a specific entity. Lookup functions are used for such, right? I think from here, I would move on to sharing the data, then we can walk. Please confirm when you see my screen. Okay, please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
And thank you. And please, I am a bit of a very fast-paced person, so please do well to call me back if I'm rushing or if you have missed a step, because these functions can be a little bit confusing for beginners, right? So for some of us that already are familiar with these functions, you can easily pick, right? But for some of us that, we are slow-paced learners, or, you might just have network glitch or you missed out on a step, please do well to call my attention. And I would admonish us, for some of us that have our laptop with us, please try to follow, because it talks or it sticks when you practicalize these things. Excel is not something that you can learn offhand and you would come in the next few months to say you want to apply those things. You have to practicalize it, you have to assimilate it so that it comes in handy when you need it, right? So we would start with the SUMIF function. The difference between SUMIF and SUMIFs, right, is SUMIF is specifically used for when you have one criteria you are summing a particular range of data for. For example, you want to sum the total number of kilometers a driver has been able to do right, in the entire year or in a set of data, right? You just want to sum the number of kilometers he has covered in a year. It is just one criteria, and the criteria is summing up the data for 1 year, right? Sum if function can come to play. But when you want to use sum ifs, let's say you have a data range from January till December, and you only want to sum up the kilometer the driver has covered in the month of November, right? That's where sum ifs come to play, right? The sum if criteria, the criteria is summing up the um, uh, data for a specific driver for a specific month. Those are two criteria. So we'll be looking at that shortly. Then I'll quickly touch on data validation. I think I did not mention data validation, which is very, very important and key for anybody learning Excel. So I will just touch on it briefly. I wouldn't want to go very, very deep into data validation, right? So this is our data set. We want to use the SUMIF function first, but we want to, this colon I, right? We want to sum the, what can we use here? Want to sum the quantity of load these drivers have been, okay, let's sum the quantity of revenue per driver, right? We want to sum the quantity of revenue per driver. So what we can do here is to pick up a specific driver. Let's take Sophie Whitaker or Whitaker. Let's copy him and bring him here, right? I would come to data validation later, please. I just want us to start with the core things that I highlighted in the course of the introduction. Please confirm you're with me. Anybody, just confirm you're with me.
Yeah, we are
Yes, sir.
with you. We are
Yes,
with you.
yes, yes.
All right, thank you.
We can hear you. We
So
can hear you.
thank you. We want to sum the total number of revenue that Sophie has rigged in for the company, right? I think let me see, this data covers from January to December, right? And let's filter by Sophie so that we see how many times his name, okay? We can just type Sophie here, right? And say, okay. So we have Sophie coming up 8 times. I believe Mr. Paul has touched on filter and sorting, so I don't need to go over that, right? So we have Sophie's data coming up 8 times. I would not want us to touch on the colon R for now, but would come back to confirm what our answer is later on. So like Mr. Paul said yesterday, when you are starting any syntax, for the sake of this training, I'll call it formula. When you're starting up any formula, the first thing you do is to use the equals to sign so that Excel can capture that you are about to input a syntax or a formula or a function, right? So the first thing to do is to bring in the equals to sign, right? Then you put sum if. You see that we have two functions here. We have the sum if and the sum ifs. We are starting with the sum if. The sum if is just for one criteria. You can use the sum if function to calculate for one criteria. The sum ifs is for multiple criterias. I will come back to the sum ifs function, right? So you click on the sum if, then you would see that the syntax brought in some criteria here. We have the range, we have the criteria, we have the sum range, right? This range is the range for your criteria. And in this case now, let's go back to data. Your criteria range is the driver's name colon, which is colon I. You click on colon I like this. Then you put a comma sign to tell Excel that you have inserted the first criteria, right? Your criteria here for this particular function is Sophie White-Staker, right? You click on Sophie White-Staker here. That's on A1. Do you understand? Then you do another comma. Then you go back to where your data is. Then you click what we are calculating is the sales revenue for Sophie White-Staker. The sales revenue is on colon R. You click on colon R here and you click on enter, right? This is, let me use Naira so that we can see. We have a total of 367,000 Naira 950 for the total revenue Sophie Whitaker rigged in for the year, right? If we come here to say, let's filter Sophie, let's confirm what Excel has given to us. Sophie did 367,000 Naira. Let's highlight what Sophie did here. You can see that everything sums to 367,950 Naira at the end of the day, which is what we got here. Please, if you got this, let me know. If you want me to take it over again, please unmute and let me know. You want me to take it over again? All right. So what I will do here is so because of the data we have here, is a lot of data, and I don't want us to work on this sheet, but so that everybody understands, we'll do let's copy these drivers. Let's copy these drivers and okay, I think there's a way I can do full mode here, right? I think it's better like this, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
we have this set of drivers. We have this, okay, we have Sophie coming up twice here. We have this set of drivers, right? We want to know how many, this is driver's name for driver's name, right? We want to know their revenue for the year, revenue per year, right? This is one metric we want to know. Want to know this. I said we'll do some ifs, some if rather. Number one, this range, the first range you're seeing here is the criteria range. The criteria we are using, or the criteria we are looking for, is the driver's name criteria. We are using the driver's name as the criteria to look for, to calculate the revenue per year, right? We come to the column where driver's name is. You'd see that the column for driver's name, where's driver's name here, is I, colon I, right? What you can do, you can either click on the whole column, on top of the column like this. You see that arrow, you click on that column. You left click, if you are using the mouse, right? You left click on that column. right? It brings colon I. Then you press comma, right? You do comma. That is to tell Excel that you have clicked on that function, you're moving to the next thing in line, right? And immediately you do that, you can see that here on the formula, it has highlighted criteria as the next thing to do. You see that it told you the next thing you are supposed to do is to click on criteria, right? Your criteria here is Sophie Whitaker. You want to know this Sophie, how much has he made this year? You click on Sophie here. You do comma. You see that it has moved you to the next thing, which is sum range. Your sum range is where your revenue is. The column that you have your revenue, right? And your revenue column is on R, your sales revenue. You come and click on column R like this. You've done that. Then you click enter. You see that immediately it has automatically calculated what Sophie made during the course of the year. If you drag it down, I believe Mr. Paul mentioned that you can automatically, Excel has the function of automatically sensing your formulas and populating for other criteria that you have. You can either drag it down here like this. You left click and drag it down like this. It automatically calculates for other criteria, or you can come and do copy. You copy that formula and you paste Control V. It has automatically calculated for sorry. Okay. It has automatically calculated the revenue per year for all these drivers. I want to put it in C, right? So do we all understand this? Or I'm too fast? I
I
want us to
think
move on to some ifs. Do we all understand
Yes,
this?
yes,
Is
yes,
it
yes,
clear? Would you be
yes,
able to do this on your own?
yes.
Okay, thank you. So this is for some if. Let me just put some if on top here. Some if function, right? We've done some if. We want to use some ifs now. We want to use some ifs function. And what we want to do this time around is to say I'm coming. I want us to use let us sum the number of trips. Let me see if there is a number of trips here. Okay, let us sum the number of kilometers that was covered for each driver for I don't want to use something too complex for you guys. Sorry, I'm just trying to get something easy I can use for you people. I'm sorry. Let me say this one. I don't understand. Okay, let's use For summing functions now, right? We want to Jan, let's use Jan. For each of these months, we want to see what each driver made in each of these months. Or let's pick a particular driver. I don't want us to use all these drivers here, right? Let's pick a particular driver for this exercise. What did Sophie Whitaker make for each month, right? From January to down through to December, right? What was his revenue for the year, and how many kilometers KM covered for each of the months that he worked, right? Let's use that. So let's use this. Because of our data here, because of how structured our data is, we only have dates, right? I want us to add one colon. Let's insert one colon and call that colon months. I don't want to use complex formulas. I'm trying to make this as easy as possible, right? Let's use months. I'm going to use a formula here. Don't sorry. Just don't bother about this formula I'm using. If we have time, I'll come to it. So you see that it has automatically populated the months for us, right? Let's just assume this is part of our data. I don't want to bother us about this particular formula that's used because I did not mention this formula in the course of my introduction, right? So let's go ahead with what I was going to show you guys. So we want to calculate the revenue per year and the kilometer Sophie covered during the course of the year, right? Sorry, I'm trying to merge this. What's wrong? Okay. So we're trying to see the revenue per year and the kilometer cover. So straight on to SUMIFs. We are using SUMIFs function. SUMIFs function is a little bit different from SUMIF because it starts with the sum range, right? And the sum range in this case is the revenue per year. So we go to colon R, which I believe is the revenue colon. Oh, sorry. Now it has changed to colon S because I added a new colon for the month, right? So colon S, we click on colon S, comma, right? Then the next thing is criteria range 1. We have two criteria in this case now. The first criteria is driver's name. The second criteria is the month. So the criteria range 1 is the driver's name. Meanwhile, any can come before any. We can either use months as the first criteria, or we use driver's name as the first criteria, it doesn't matter. It will still give you the same correct answer, right? So, but for the sake of this case, we are going to use the driver's name as the first criteria. So we'll go to the driver's name range, which is supposed to be J now, colon J, I believe. This colon J, we click on colon J, we press on comma, then we go to the criteria itself. The criteria here is the driver's name. We click on the driver's name, right? We do another comma, then it takes us to criteria range 2, which is the month, right? Criteria range 2 is the month range. We go to the month, which is colon C. We click on colon C, we do comma, then we come back to the criteria range, the criteria 2, which is January. You click on January and you do enter. Is that clear? Please confirm you understood what I just did now. It is very important that you understand this step by step. Please confirm that you
It's not
understand, or
clear.
you want me to take it over.
How do you get it? Because I'm trying to follow up. It's not actually coming in.
Okay. I think we we have a very ambiguous data here. The data is too big. I would have preferred that we had a smaller data set, because looking at this data now, you won't even be able to see. We have 12,400 data sets here in terms of rows now, but that's not the point. Let me just start all over again. I wish that we had a smaller data so that we can use smaller ranges. So we start again with equals to sum ifs. We are using sum ifs now. You click on sum ifs. Please notice sum ifs we are doing, not sum if. We've completed sum if, right? We are working on sum ifs now, right? You click on sum ifs. For this case, you're trying to, your sum range is the revenue, what you want to achieve. The end goal is the revenue per year, and that is your sum range, right? The revenue per year. You go to the revenue column, which is column S, right? You click on column S like this. You click on column X like that. Then you do comma for you to tell Excel that you are ready for the next move. Automatically, or if you, when you, so there is this help Excel gives, or Excel renders. So you might need to keep your eyes on this you can even move it, I believe. You can move it anywhere. For the sake of this, let me find somewhere very close to, let me just paste it here where it is visible, right? Let me start again so that you see it. You click on colon S, right? And you do comma. You see that Excel is telling us that we are currently on some range. Immediately you put comma, it moves you to the next step. It tells you that you are supposed to pick your criteria range, your first criteria range, your criteria range 1. Your criteria in this case is driver's name or the months. You understand? And I said you can either use any of the two, depending on how you feel like. So because we've used driver's name initially, I'll use months now. Let us start with months. You want to know the uh, revenue that this driver made in the month of January, right? You want to know the revenue this driver made in the month of January. You've done criteria, your sum range. You go to your criteria is January because that is your focus. You go to the month column. Your month column is C, column C. You click on the month column and you press comma. Excel will automatically tell you that, okay, Oga, I have seen that you have clicked on the month. What is your criteria in all these months. We have from January to December. Your criteria can be January, it can be February, it can be March, it can be April, up till December. It is now left for you to determine or to decide that, okay, Oga Excel, my criteria is January. You click on January. Then you click on comma, right? Let's say it is just one criteria. You can put enter. It will automatically tell you that this is what let me do this. This is the total amount that all the drivers made in January, because your only criteria here is January. Do you understand? But because you are specific to the driver, you want to tie that criteria, the first criteria of January, you want to tie it to this Sophie. You want to tie that criteria to Sophie. You have to add Sophie to your criteria. Then you put comma, you edit and put comma, you continue and say it will take you to criteria range 2, right? Your criteria range 2 is the driver's name, where all the drivers are. It can be Gideon, it can be Olaide, it can be Daniel, it can be Jacob, it can be, there are a lot of drivers in your company, right? So you have to, out of the pool of your driver, the criteria range is saying out of the pool. That's what the criteria range means, that all your driver, the pool of drivers, you click on that pool. In this case now, the pool of driver is residents in colon J. You see driver's name colon J here. You click on colon J, then you do comma, right? Then, is it Gideon? Is it Jeremiah? Is it Tunde? You come back to tell Excel what your criteria is. In this case, our criteria is Sophie. You click on Sophie. Immediately you click on that. If you have other criteria, you can continue up to 176 criteria, I believe. But in this case, we are only using 2 criteria. The criteria is month and driver's name. We are done with it. You click enter. It automatically tells you that Sophie was able to make 267,600 naira in the month of January. Is this clear? Please, if it is not clear, I'll keep going over till we all understand, please. Because once we miss a step, we've missed it. I know we'll have the recording, we can go back to the recording, right? But please, is it clear? How many people do we have online? I think I want this to be as interactive as possible. I'll just call on anybody. So that I'm sure we are following, right? I don't want to. Let me call on Mr. Richard. Mr. Richard, are you here with
Sir,
us, Mr. Richard? Is this clear?
yes, yes, I just do.
Mr. Adegoke, are you here with us? Is it clear? Adegoke Lawal.
Yes, it's clear.
It's clear. Okay, thank you very
I'm
much.
with you.
Thank you. I'll move on because of time. We have a lot of things to cover, right? So yeah, we are done for Sophie for the month of January. What we can do is to come to this top right corner and drag it down. You can left click and drag it down. You will see that this Sophie, we can say he's a lazy driver, or maybe he struck at the breakdown, or he had an accident. Because we don't have privy to the ground information, we cannot even see, right? But Sophie only worked for 2 months, right? Sophie only worked for 2 months. So in the course of the year, Sophie only worked January and February. From March till December, he did not make any money. That is what Excel is telling us. That is what Excel is telling us. For the whole year, Sophie only made 367,000. That's so, in fact, let me now bring this to context because everything has to tally when you're presenting your information, right? As a fleet manager, as a logistics manager, you have to verify your data. You have to tie your data to the reality on ground. So I believe Mr. Paul mentioned sum yesterday. So let's use sum, right? Sum function. We can click on sum and just sum up this range like this. This is what Sophie made in the year. If you compare this 367,950, you see that that is what Sophie, let me color this two. You would see that we have the same thing. We arrived at the same answer. This is revenue per year. Meanwhile, we use the separate function and formula here. And at the end of the day, when we calculated for each month, we arrived at the same thing. Do you understand? So let us use another driver entirely for this case. Can someone just pick any driver from this data set? Just pick any driver that you want me to use. Yeah.
Matter.
Oh, sorry?
Matter.
Is Martha your girlfriend? Okay. So I just pasted Martha there. Martha Levy. Let's copy Martha because this is our criteria, right? We can. You see that Martha also only worked for 2 months, right? Martha only worked for 2 months and see what we got here. You see that we arrived at the same thing. Sorry, let me look at this data set. It seems we only have drivers that worked for, okay, we have drivers that worked up to December. So let's use another driver. I want a driver that would give us that would be able to populate from January till December. Let's just pick a random guy here. Let's pick Sam Morrison, right? Let's paste Sam Morrison here. Wow, all these guys worked only January. Let's just, okay, this guy worked up till March, right? So in order not to take our time, I think you can play with this data. This is just playing with the data to confirm whatever you've done, right? You can play with the data. Just play with the data and understand these things, right? Are we all good with the SUMIF function? Are we all fine, please? Confirm so that we can move on to the next thing. Are we all fine with the
Yes.
SUMIF function?
That's
All right,
fine.
I will quickly rush through. I would not explain myself here. I will just do the same thing for kilometers covered, right? Or let me just do this. Let me ask someone to run us through what who can I pick? Who can I pick? I want to pick around. Mr. Oluwatosin Akindele. Are you there with us? Mr. Oluwatosin Akindele.
I'm with you.
Okay, so you can see my screen. We want to
Yes.
calculate the kilometers covered for Mr. Kaylee Media. I'm not sure I pronounced that right, but let us calculate kilometers covered. In this case, what do we do? I've punched in the SUMIF function. Just take me to the what do we do? What do we do?
Firstly, we go to where the name of the driver is, the column.
The column of the name of the driver.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Driver name. We have driver name on column J.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we should click on column J.
Then you made mention of something. We can either use the month or the weird the kilometer is something like the column, the month or the as one of the criteria we can use.
Okay. So Mr. Tosin, so let me come again, Oliver, right? We are summing what's the don't mute yourself, please. Just stay with me. I want to personalize this so that every other person can follow, right? What we want to achieve here is the kilometers covered, right, Mr. Tosin?
Yeah. So you said something like if we want the criteria we can use here now, we can use either the month or the column which the
Yes,
criteria is. Because
yes. I'll come there. But what we started with is wrong, right? We don't start with the
okay,
driver, right? The driver is a criteria. You understand?
okay,
The month is a criteria. What we start with is the end goal, right? The end goal is the kilometers covered. And
oh
we have
sure,
to go to the kilometers covered range. And in this case, the kilometers covered range is colon AC. Do you understand? C, kilometers covered, AC.
okay.
That's where we start
Excuse me,
from.
sorry. Hello, sir.
I'm
So
with you.
if we want to get any particular sum of for anything, okay, if we are getting for, maybe we are getting for cost of fuel now, we have to go to, okay, we have to start with cost of fuel. Hello.
Yes. That is the
Okay,
way
okay.
that is the way the formula is structured,
Every
right?
other thing
The formula is structured in, so I don't want you to put it at the back of your mind that use the label for whatever you are looking for. No, I want you to understand the formula itself. The formula is saying some range. Some range in this case is your end goal, the range of your end goal. In the case that you have said now, you said sum of fuel. You have to go to the fuel column, maybe the liters of fuel you have discharged or the amount of fuel you have discharged, right? That's where you go to. That's where your sum range is. In this case, our sum range is kilometers covered because our end goal is kilometers covered. Do you
so
understand?
every other part are criteria.
Every other thing from here is criteria range and criteria.
Okay,
Once you have what you start with is your end goal.
okay,
In fact, this, you know what? When we are able to understand some ifs, right? Because this formula is similar to other formulas like count ifs, average ifs, all those ifs, right? I believe that we should take our time on this one. Once we are able to get this, every other one would be easy. You understand? So please, for people that are already understood, please let me take my time to go over this so that we don't have to do this over other formulas, right? So please, Mr. Tosin, do you get that?
yeah,
We start with sum range. Our sum
yeah,
range in this case is the end goal. If you want to
okay,
add, for example, the salaries of all the drivers, you want to know how much you have paid to Mr. Tunde in the course of the year. What you start with is your
it's some,
salary column.
that's some range.
Yes, God bless you. So once you have done that, you say comma. Then you can now take me to where you want to take me to from here. So go ahead. I've done comma. What is the next thing?
Okay, so the course of the explanation earlier, you said we can go to the month.
Yes. So you have to understand that we have two criteria here:
Yeah,
driver's
we
name
have.
and month. Anyone can come before anyone. That's what you are trying to say. So go ahead.
So when you go to the months, then
So
as
I should
well,
go to months now, right? Is that what you're saying?
yes, 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 sir.
Okay, I'll go to months. Our month is colon C.
Then
I'll click on colon C.
you go to driver name.
Please always remember that I would have to put comma, because if
Yeah,
you don't put comma, Excel will believe that you have not gotten to where you are going. So please let us put comma. So you say comma, I'll put comma. Then you
you
said
put come
I'll go where now?
driver's name.
You know, we've only done the criteria range for the month. We have to put the criteria itself. So after the criteria range, you come back and say, I've done January to December. Which of the months do I want to pick? In this case, we are picking January. So you click on January. That's the criteria. Do you understand,
Yes.
Mr. Tosin? We
Yeah.
have done months. Then we click January. or the criteria. It can be any of the months. We click on it. Then we do comma. So what next, Mr. Tosin?
Then you go to the name of the driver you are trying to get the.
That's the range, the name of the driver's name, colon, right?
Yes.
Yeah, which is colon J. Then we do comma. Then we come back to the driver's name, right?
Yes.
Kayla.
That driver name.
Yes, then we put enter.
Then we
Thank
press
you,
enter.
Mr. Tosin.
Then
Thank you,
as
Mr.
well,
Tosin.
rest of the month, you can just drag at the edge of the right side, drag it down.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Tosin. God bless you. Thank you very much. I believe this is clear for everybody. This is clear. We can copy the sum and paste it here. We can do this. It means that Mr. Kayla was able to do 3,663 kilometers during the course of the month. If you want to add your kilometers to the back, this is just for what's it called? Do I need to do this? We would not really dwell on this, so you can go back to the recording, please. You can go back to the recording. There's a function called and then if you want to convert, you want Excel to see your text as numbers, because Excel does not recognize texts for formulas. You do 2 apostrophes and write whatever you want to write in between the apostrophes. So for this case now, we put KM, right? We put KM. Then we put a space before that KM. So you can do this. So you see that it brought 949 km, this km. However, the sum range would not be able to sum it because we have km there. This is just by the way. Let me not take you off course. This is a little bit of wild cards. So let me not just take you there. Let me focus on. So we've done sum if and sum ifs, right? We've done sum if and sum ifs. What's the next thing we are going to? I think we should do count ifs, and count if, right? Let's do before we go to average. So let's do count if and count ifs. Same data sets. Let me hide this. Same data sets, right? We are doing count if, right? Want to count. Counting function is for let's look at the managers here. We have let's pick Tunde and Jeremiah. Let's pick Tunde and Jeremiah. Manager, right? Want to count what can we count for these managers? Want to count how many way bills. Let's count how many way bills their drivers were able to deliver to them. How many trips? You know, way bills can translate to how many clips covered. Or do we have trip here? Okay, I'll come to trip type. Let's just count how many way bills were delivered or how many way bills were they able to generate in the course of the year, right? So let's count if. Remember, count if is for one criteria. Count ifs is for multiple criteria, right? Please confirm if you are following, please. Confirm if you are following. I want to be a little bit on the speed
Yes,
now.
yes.
Yes, we want
We
to
are
count
following you.
how many way bills. Thank you. We want to count how many way bills their driver was able to deliver. Their drivers under them for Mr. Tunde and Mr. Jeremiah. We come to range. So this one is straightforward. It's pretty straightforward. You are not summing anything. It just goes to tell you that what's the range and what's the criteria. What's the range and what's the criteria? Do you understand? Okay, we might not be able to use this to calculate number of way bills because way bills are. Let me look for something more. Okay, let's use trip type. How many trip type? How many trip type they were able to trip type trip. Hold on, please. Want to count. Let me bring this down. Want to do trip type. We merge and say trip type. We have on the trip type here. We have local and we have local interstates. Let's just use local and interstate for this case. Local and interstates. Right? For Mr. Tunde now, we want to count how many local trips his driver were able to do. So we'll come to range. Trip type, that is X, right? We click on colon X, then that's the range. The criteria is local. Pretty simple and straightforward. Pretty simple and straightforward, right? Let's do the same for Mr. Jeremiah, the range, trip type, colon X, comma, criteria, local. Simple and straightforward. No. That would apply for local trips. This is the number of local trips for the whole operations, right? Let's do count ifs for interstates, right? And we have what's it called? 1,954 interstate trips. But if we want to use count ifs, that's when we can double down to say we'll be having two criteria. One is the trip type and the manager's name. Sorry, one is the trip type and the manager's name. Pardon what my mistake the other time. My brain was working faster than my mouth, or my mouth was working faster than my brain. Sorry. So let's use count ifs now. Count ifs function would be able to say how many trips, how many local trips did Mr. Tunde do during the course of the year. And this is pretty simple and straightforward. We'll go to criteria range. Criteria range 1 is X, local, right? Then Mr. Tunde, manager. Go to criteria range 2. Criteria range 2, here's the manager. That's colon K, comma. We'll come back and do Tunde. So Mr. Tunde was only able to do 405 local trips. Let me repeat that again. Please follow me. Please follow me. It's very critical. Follow me, please. We want to know how many interstate trips Mr. Tunde did, right? You see that Excel has told us that criteria range. What is the criteria range? It can be Mr. Tunde first, or it can be the manager's criteria first, or the trip type first, right? Let's start with manager. Manager's range is manager colon K. You can click on colon K, colon K, right? Comma. We pick on Mr. Tunde. We click on Mr. Tunde. This is what Mr. Tosin was trying to say the other time. When it comes to criteria, any criteria, Excel does not prioritize arrangement of criteria. As long as your criteria are correct, your answers will be correct. So manager can come first, trip can come first. You understand? You will notice that when I did for local, I used trip types first, then managers came first. Now we are using manager first, then trip type will come after. So criteria range 2, trip type colon X, comma, interstate. That's the criteria. They were only able to, Mr. Tunde was only able to do 405 local trips and 169 interstate trips, right? Then you can use your sum to say this is the total number of interstate and local trips Mr. Tunde did. Bearing in mind that we have other trip types, we have local north, local northwest pool. Let's not bother ourselves with that one. But for local and interstate, Mr. Tunde was able to do 574 trips. Now, I'll call on someone to take us for Mr. Jeremiah. Mr. Andrew, Mr. Edewo Andrew, please run us through for Mr. Jeremiah. Quickly, please.
All right. Yeah, thank you. So from the explanation, we do our equals to count if,
Yes.
then we
Count ifs, right? Yeah, count ifs. I'm with
then
you.
we go to the column where we have the trip type.
Trip type, yes. Thank you.
Then we pick on either the local first, since we are doing for local,
It is important that we use comma,
which is the
Mr.
criteria.
Let us do comma,
Yeah,
please.
comma.
Let's comma. Thank you. So we are doing
Then,
local, right? We click on local and
yes,
do
then
comma.
pick local.
Okay. What's the next criteria?
Yeah, then next criteria is to go to the column where we have the trip.
Bridges now.
Oh, we've done the trip, oh, Mr. Andrew. We've done the trip. You know, it's trip type we picked first. We are looking at,
Hello?
we want to count the number of trips for Mr. Jeremiah. So I believe the next criteria range is the manager's criteria, where
Yeah, the
Mr. Jeremiah,
manager's name.
yeah,
Yeah.
manager's name. Thank you. We pick manager's name, then comma.
And we'll come back on that formula part to select the actual manager name.
God bless you, Mr. Andrew. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Andrew. Please let us clap for Mr. Andrew. Let us clap for Mr. Andrew. Please use your emojis to clap for Mr. Andrew. So let me call on someone to do for Mr. Abiodun Husseini. Mr. Abi, you're here. Yeah. Please run us through for Mr. Jeremiah for interstate. Run us through for Mr. Jeremiah for interstate quickly. Mr. Abiodun, are you there? Mr. Abiodun is not with us. Mr. Abiodun saying, I think we have two Abioduns here. So I'll call on your namesake. Oh, you are here. Oh, yeah. Please run us through for Mr. Jeremiah interstate quickly, please, so that we can close out on count ifs and count if. Run us, what do we do for calculating interstate for Mr. Jeremiah? We want to know the number of trips, the number of interstate trips Mr. Jeremiah was able to do around the year.
Okay, you want to get the number of interstate trip Mr. Jeremiah did throughout the year.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that will be using the count if formula. It will be equals to
Okay.
okay, the
Equal,
total trips he did throughout the year now.
total trips for Mr. Jeremiah, yes.
Okay, yes. Count if
Is it count if or count ifs? Whatever you tell me is
if
what I'll punch in. Is it count ifs or count if, Mr. Abiodun?
ifs.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Count ifs, then what's next? What's the next thing, Mr. Abiodun? You are holding us.
Okay, so that will be the I'm trying to look at the columns.
Okay, just no, you don't necessarily need to get the columns. Just tell us where to go, the name. You know, we have a column for interstates, for trip types, and the column for, you know, just show us to the column. It does not necessarily have to carry the column name.
Okay. So that would be for trip type.
Trip type, okay. Column trip type. What
Yes.
next?
Um confused at this point.
Comma. For the sake
Sir?
of our time, Mr. Abiodun,
Yes, sir.
but it's fine. After trip type, comma, then we come to criteria. Criteria is interstate, comma, we go to manager's name, right? Manager, comma, that's colon K, then comma, the name of the manager, Jeremiah. Then we have 80. So Mr. Jeremiah was able to cover 136 local trips and 80 interstate trips. Then we can drag this down and have 216. 216, right? 216. All good here, please. Are we all good? Please confirm we are good. Do we all understand? Please unmute. Let's rapport. Let me tell me where you're finding the. Yes, thank you, Mr. Andrew. Any other person? Mr. Followinshaw, Mr. Levinus, Mr. Oluwatosin.
We are good to go.
Okay, we are good to go. Thank you. Okay. I think the next thing is taking us through we've covered some ifs and some counts, count ifs, some ifs. So the next function is average ifs, right? The next function is average ifs, right? I would hide this because we might need it later on. Please hold on, just give me a minute, please. Stay on the call.
Okay. We'll go to average, like I said, right? Please confirm you can still see my screen.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
Thank you. We want to know the average trip per contract. So you see here on column H, we have some contracts here, right? We are going to use data validation here. I want us to make use of data validation here. So I copied that, um, I copied that column. Let's come to data. Here you see remove duplicates. So I want to remove duplicates of the data we have for that column, and let's see what we. So it has reduced this to, these are all the contracts we have. These are all the contracts we have for the company, right? We want to know the average fuel, average kilometers covered, for each contract. We want to know the average what average revenue. Let us use average revenue. Average, we want to know the average trip covered and the average revenue for these contracts, right? So equals to average if, right? Average if. Sorry, please hold on. My system is going to go off now. I want to switch to another system. Just give me a minute, please. I want to switch to another system. Just stay on the call.
Good afternoon. So apologies. Let's just give him some few minutes so we can join back. Thank you.
you all hear me? Hello? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry. My lights went off and I had to switch to another laptop. I'm very sorry. Okay, so we'll pick up from where we stopped. Okay, confirm when you can see my screen, please.
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay, okay. Okay. Okay, can you see it now?
Not showing.
Really?
Yes, see it from
Yeah.
my end.
Is it showing now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. I'm very sorry. So the whatever we had done that I had on that other laptop, I might not have access to it anymore. So, but we'll just start from I think I was doing average if, right? And I was talking about contracts. So we pick contracts all over again. Contracts, where's the contract? We have colon G for contract. So we want to remove duplicates. That is one of that's one of the function of data validation, right? I had said I would not really dwell on data validation, but it's just this is it. You come to data, then you see remove duplicates. This sign here, remove duplicates. So once you click on it, you say, okay, it removes all the duplicate items that you have on that column, right? That's what we are trying to do here. So this is what we have. Trying to move it down so that okay. So we want to know kilometers covered and sales revenue, right? KM covered, average KM covered. Let me use average KM covered per contract. Average KM covered and average sales revenue, right? Mr. Paul had mentioned how to create borders, so I don't think that should be right. So average if for uh, what is the okay for the whole year, right? For the whole year, what was the average kilometer covered for the whole year? We'll go to range of the KM covered. I think range of KM covered is colon AB, right? Then we'll do comma, right? Let me go back to what I did initially, sorry. We want to know the average kilometers covered for each contract. So we go to the contracts range. Contracts range. Sorry, please. Is that Mr. Biodun? Please kindly mute. We click on colon G, right? That's the criteria range, right? Then we click on the criteria, which is NMPC EVAP, whatever that is. Then the average range is the KM covered. Sorry, did we get that? I'm a little bit tensed because of what happened with my laptop. So I must have lost my what's it called, grip a little. But please, did we get that? Kindly confirm you got that. Or do you want me to start all over again? Do we still have people on the call?
Please, you can go over, sir. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. So I'll go over again. What we are trying to achieve here, we want to know the average kilometers covered. So we have an operation that we have about, let's say, 500 trucks per operation, right? And we have these contracts. So for some of us that we work in companies where we have very large fleets, like I don't want to use where I've worked before, but I'll use a company that almost everybody knows here. What's the name of this company again? BHN. I don't know if anybody works with BHN here, but if we are familiar with BHN, BHN has multiple contracts. You understand? They all for, I think, Onta motorcycles. They all for Lafarge. They all for Chivita. They all for, I think they're in Coca-Cola. There are in a lot of companies like that. So in such operations, they will have different contract specifics. You understand? So Coca-Cola is a separate contract. Lafarge is a separate contract. Chivita is a separate contract. Onta motorcycle is a separate contract. Indomie is a separate contract for such a big operation like that. So bringing that information or bringing that picture down to this data, in this operation, in this Navia Blue operation, we have contracts. Navia Blue alls for NNPC, they all for Mangal, they all for NNPC PMS, that is petrol, they all for Bua Cement, they all for Last Long Fuel, these are different contracts that they all for. But at the end of the year, when we are doing our yearly review, we want to know what is the average kilometers that our trucks covered for each of these contracts. Do you understand? We want to know that, okay, at the end, we have 10 trucks in NNPC, we have 15 trucks in BUA. What was the average kilometer that each of these trucks combined did for each of these contracts? That's what we are trying to achieve here. These are metrics and KPIs that are used for strategic decision making when it comes to fleet management and logistics as a whole. You want to, you know, the higher the KM covered, the higher the satisfaction that you are flogging your trucks, you are utilizing your trucks. In fact, this directly speaks to utilization. For those people in core transport and logistics and probably fleet management here, you understand what I'm saying. This largely speaks to utilization, which I believe Mr. Laide will be taking us much later in the coming classes, where we look deeply into fleet management KPIs. You understand? So going back to what I was saying here, average KM covered, we say equals to average if. average if. The range here is the contract range. The contract range. We go to where the contracts are, which I believe the contract is in column G. You click on column G and you say comma. Then you come to criteria. Your criteria here is you want to know what NNPC evap did. You understand? You want to know what Mangal did. You want to know what PMS did. You want to know what Boa Cement did. You are eager to have this information to take strategic decision making. You click on that particular contract. Then you do comma. Then you come to where the column that has the details of your KM covered. The total KM for the operations. Then which is column AB. You click on column AB and directly you punch in enter. You understand? You can populate this. Remember I said your right corner, your right down corner, you populate it, right? And that is it. Or you can do, you copy and come to those cells and you paste. You still get the same thing. You see this information now, it came in decimals. You can highlight these cells and come here. See this function here, decrease decimal. See this function here, increase decimal. But we are trying to decrease the decimal. So that's what we do. We click on it. If you want to increase decimal, you come here. But if you want to round it up, you come here. For those of us that did mathematics in primary school and secondary school, you are rounding up to the nearest whole number. You are rounding up to the nearest 1 decimal point. You are rounding up to the nearest 2 decimal points. This is the function. Though there is a formula that can help you round up, I'm not touching on that. It is round up. The formula is round up. The formula is round up. This is it. This is the formula. You want to round this up to the nearest 1. You see, you want to round this up to the nearest 0. Sorry. You want to round this up. You see why comma is important? I didn't do comma, and that's why I brought out that error. You want to round this up to the nearest 0. You see that it has rounded it, this particular one, to 24. So that's just by the side. Just keep it at the back of your mind. Round up function is very easy. Just click on round up, click on the number you want to round up and pick the nearest digit you want to round up to. It's very easy. That's why I won't touch on that. So, meanwhile, you have your tab here. You can easily come here and just round up instead of using formulas, right? So we'll see here that using what Mr. Paul taught us yesterday, you can come here and put your filter. Then you filter to this. You want to arrange it in ascending order. Is it ascending or descending? In ascending order, yes. You filter to the smallest, right? You see that NMPC evap did the lowest KM, average KM. And you see that last long fuel did the highest average KM, 824 KMs. So it means that on average, any truck that carries last long fuel that works under the last long contract per trip, their average KM is 824. There is no way they will get out of the loading bay and they will not cover at least 824 per trip. Then it means that for NMPC, maybe they have old trucks there, their trucks are breaking down, or they just have managers issue, or they just have bad drivers that they are not properly motivated to work, or just maybe they are even doing local trips. Maybe they are only covering between Oshodi to Apapa. They are only delivering all in between, delivering fuel, PM, NMPC, or consignment between Apapa. They pick up from port, they go and drop at Oshodi, they go back to Apapa. Maybe that's why they have this low number. you as the logistics manager or the fleet manager, it is your bit now to come and put that comment there, convert this data into meaningful, what's it called, into meaningful insights for the management. You understand? But me looking at this now, you can say NNPC VAP is doing very poorly. You understand? And you can rate from NNPC 80K. 80K is aeronautic fuel, like aeronautic transmission kerosene or something. But I know that it is the fuel for airplanes, right? NNPC 80K, NNPC 50, last long. Those are the guys doing pretty well. We can pick GE oil and gas too. Those are the guys that are utilizing their trucks. For every trips they do average of 388. That's the list they are giving us. You understand? That is the advantage of average if. Please, do we understand? I think I swayed into fleet management insights, but I was just trying to build on the importance of this formula. Please, is there anybody there to confirm that I'm clear and we can move on to count average ifs? Do we have any question? Do we have any question? Mr. Folorunsho, Mr. Deolu Idowu, Mr. Ife, Mr. Emmanuel, Mr. Sakiru, anybody on the call? Confirm that you can hear me and we are clear to move on.
Yeah, very
Hear you.
I can hear
All
you.
right. No questions, right?
no
No
questions.
question.
All right, thank you. So because of time, I'm not sure we'll be able to cover the lookup functions, right? But I would see if I can quickly cover average ifs and do a little bit of XLOOKUP and VLOOKUP. So same thing with, we do average ifs, right? But for average ifs, we want to know the, let's use months here now. For January, want to know we are reviewing the month of January. Want to know the average trips, okay, average revenue that these guys, these contracts brought in for Navia Blue Logistics, right? Average, average ifs, right? Our average range first. Unlike the average if, of average ifs is average ifs is asking for our average range first, which is in this case now we are looking for revenue, right? Which is our revenue covered. Sorry, my system is a bit sluggish. Colon R, right? Colon R. If you had understood the sum ifs function, this should be a child's play for you now. If you understood the sum ifs function, is the same exact thing as the sum ifs function. Our first criteria range can be contracts, can be months, but let's use months. We want to know what we did in January. Oh, I delete. Okay, let's do contracts because it was my other laptop. I created that column for months. Column G for contracts, comma, and we can pick the contracts here. Contracts, the criteria, right? let me quickly create the column for months so that we can put in our months. Mr. Laide, please confirm that the session is still being recorded. I think the recording has stopped, but please confirm from your head if the session is still being recorded.
The recording is ongoing. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
It is being recorded.
Okay. Never mind this formula, please. If there's time, would come to it later on. But these are formulas that they are not really core to what we are doing today. It's just by the way. So I've created the months colon, so we can continue, right, with the month criteria range. Then we come to, I've picked the criteria range for the month. Then we can come to January here, January as criteria. You see that this is the average revenue. So I don't know what happened to GE oil. Most likely GE oil did not have any, maybe there's an error due to, it's just giving us, sorry, I'm not sure. This particular Excel is not updated. So let me look for the Naira sign and just, okay. Let's just use numbers so that I don't take my time on that. So what happened to GE oil? We might need to look what happened to GE oil. Why is returning error? GE oil is returning error. So let's filter our information here and see why GE oil is giving us error for January. Okay, you would see that, okay, sales revenue. Well, this data is a lot, but I don't know why GE oil is giving us error. Might need to look into the data later. Don't know why GE oil is returning error for that particular formula. But let's move on. We have others return the right, what's it called? So for this case now, it means that, let's take this out. It means that for NMPC EVAP, average sales revenue is 66,000. You recall that they are not even doing well with their average KM. So we are not surprised that they are returning this very low revenue. You understand? We are not surprised that they are returning this very low revenue. But where our concern might be is for last long. You see, last long has the highest KM covered and is returning a very low sales revenue compared to this other two. So as a fleet manager or logistics manager, you might want to put your eyes there. Maybe they didn't do well for the month of January. Let's check February. You see, February is almost the same thing. Let's check July. You see that July jumped up. You see July jumped up. So it means that maybe availability was low for the first few months in the year. You see, I think for January and February, availability was very low. January. See, January returned, sorry. Okay, my system is very slow. Don't mind this laptop. So January returned 96,000. February returned 97,000, right? March jumped up to 254,000. So it is one or two things. Is it that utilization was very poor in the first 2 months or availability was very low? There were a lot of trucks in the workshop or under repair or something. You understand? Those are the insights data can give you. Quick insights. What is happening with my operation? What is happening with my fleet? What is happening with my trucks? You understand? And this is applicable across the whole length and breadth of supply chain, be it warehousing, be it procurement, be it core logistics, port logistics, anywhere, as long as it is supply chain, all these metrics are applicable. So please, for the sake of our time, I think we only have 3 minutes to the end of the. I think Mr. Paul will pick it up from lookup. I know lookup. Most of us are eager to learn lookup functions because I think it is very important in our day-to-day activity. Some of us have issues, understanding how to use lookups. But I believe Mr. Paul will do justice to lookup functions the next session. I will tell him what we have covered so that he can pick it up from here. So successfully, we've been able to cover 3 major functions, 6 major functions, but specifically count ifs, average ifs, and sum ifs, both if and ifs. That's for both single criteria and multiple criteria. If there are any questions now, I'd appreciate, let's entertain questions. If there are insights, if there are observations, please let us bring it up now. I think I've rounded up this session. We've been able to cover 6 syntaxes, like I mentioned. If there are any questions, if there is anywhere you need me to shed more light, please, this is the time to come up. You can raise your hand and let's take you. Thank you very much. Oh, okay. Mr. Ekene said, I think the issue with GE oil is the and sign. I did not notice any and sign, but let's trace it. Mr. Ekene, where did you notice the and sign? Mr. Ekene, can you unmute and
Hello,
are
good
you still
evening.
on? Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think the name GE and there's the full name is GE and that answer. I feel like that's what it was coming
Okay,
from.
let me. Okay, GE oil and gas, right? This and in between the name.
Yes, yes,
Is that what you're saying?
yes. I suspect so.
And
Yes.
no, I don't think that is it because the name on the contract, let's filter the contract. You see that this is a GE. You see it has and here. So and is not the problem. I think one of the values, right? You see the way bill now, you see the way bill is returning value. So I think for GE oil and gas, there must have been a mistake. Let's see, sales revenue. Maybe one of the sales revenue has a symbol in it, and I cannot start tracing that because it's a lot of data, right? But on your end there, since you have access to the data, you can look through. Anybody that gets it, anybody that figures it out can put it on the group later on during the course of the week, right? And if I'm able to settle in to check, I would also check. But I strongly believe that it is not the name, right? So if we change the name here, okay, let us give Mr. Ekene, let us just shorten this to GE oil. GE oil, right? GE oil, and we are changing this for all. It's a lot of data, actually. It's a lot of data. But let's see this through. Since Mr. Ekene brought it up, let's see this through. Okay, it's quite unfortunate. I have a lot of things on this laptop and it's very slow compared to the other one. So we've changed it to GE oil, right? So let's go back to